Here. Yes, yes. Haribol. Sankalpa, so good to see you. Always, I mean it. And Ananta Shesha, thank you for being there. But Santa, we got Sachi Sutta. Oh, are we talking about Sachi Sutta from Guyana? Uh, I'm amazed. Whoa, that is great. And Ankur, great, fantastic. We miss you. Oh, it's starting to rain here. We might have to go.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But let's get started. You never know. The weather is weird here. Strange. It's on off. Good. When did we start? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai, good. So we can go to our invocational mantra. Om Jnanatimirandasya.
Om Jnanatimirandasya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Chakshurunmilitanyena.
Chakshurunmilitamena.
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
With the torch of knowledge.
With the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, our host, Vaishnavi, can you please tell us where we are, what we are looking at today? I think it's chapter 15, isn't it? With
Yes,
this group?
Yes, Maharaj. 15, 16.
15, 16. Yeah, last week when we got together is the famous verse 15:15. And
yes, Maharaj. And
yep.
You asked us to memorize the verse.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, are there any people ready for the presentation, so to speak?
Yes, Maharaj, can I go first?
Why not? You're the chief.
I'm starting trouble here, but I will get there. 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannihishto. I give up, Maharaj. Sorry.
Okay. Mata Spiritiragyanam.
Mata Spiritiragyanam. Apohanam cha. Vedesya sarvair. Vedas aham eva cha.
Vidyo.
Vedanta krit Vedachit evam cha.
Good, not bad. Yeah, work on it a little bit more and it'll be just perfect. Is there anybody else who'd like to do Sanskrit? Anybody? Or we can, I'm assuming some more people will get on board, so we can always do it a little bit near the end as well. Yeah. But would you, do you have the English down, Prabhu?
Yes, I am seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I am known to be. I'm sorry.
By all the Vedas.
I'm known to be by all the Vedas. Indeed, indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am to be known by the Vedas. That's how it is.
I am the knower.
I'm the knower of the Vedas.
Yes, very good. Bravo. Yay, yay. Okay, great. we can get other people to participate in this. Let's get on to our verse today, and intermittently we can ask anybody who's taken the time to memorize to do. We'll get in, say be ready in 10 minutes. The next person, okay?
Okay.
So here we are. Text 16. Dwau imau purushau loke ksharas cha kshara eva cha kshara sarvani bhutani kutusto kshara ujate. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Hare Krishna. So we've got enough material here that we could get 4 people crammed in here, you know. So the 2 paragraphs, we can break them up into 2. So Vaishnavi, would you like to help us with that?
Yes. So 4 of us will be reading the purport, meaning, okay, can Sachi Sutta Das read the purport?
Yeah.
Okay, and Ankur and Sankalpa and Uday.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's go to a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Read, please.
Sachi Sutta Prabhu.
Sachi Sutta, go ahead.
There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible.
No, we just read that. We want you to read the purport, the first half of the first paragraph.
Maharaj, his sound is not, very audible for everybody. So can we skip?
Yes,
his-
It doesn't fine. They can do it
Okay.
later. Right.
No problem. Yeah, no problem.
So Ankur go, and then Sankalpa, and then Anutama, and Uday.
As already explained, the Lord in his incarnation as Vyasadeva compiled the Vedanta Sutra. Here the Lord is giving in summary the contents of the Vedanta Sutra. He says that the living entities who are innumerable can be divided into 2 classes, the fallible and the infallible. The living entities are eternally separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta, and the Sanskrit word given here are Shara Sarvani Bhutani, meaning they are infallible.
Thank you. They're fallible. Yeah, next person.
Those who are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, are called infallible. Oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but that there is no disunity. They are all agreeable to the purpose of the creation. Of course, in the spiritual world, there's no such thing as creation. But since the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is the source of all emanations, that conception is explained.
Thank you so much. Next person.
According to the statement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, there are 2 classes of living entities. The Vedas give evidence of this, so there's no doubt about it. The living entities who are struggling in this world with this mind and 5 senses have their material bodies which are changing. As long as a living entity is conditioned, his body changes due to contact with matter. Matter is changing, so the living entity appears to be changing. But in the spiritual world, the body is not made of matter. Therefore, there is no change.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. In the material world, the living entity undergoes 6 changes: birth, growth, duration, reproduction, then dwindling and vanishing. These are the changes of the material body. But in the spiritual world, the body does not change. There is no old age, there is no birth, there is no death. They all exist in oneness. Saraha Sarvani Bhutani. Any living entity who has come in contact with matter, beginning from the first created being Brahma, down to a small ant, is changing its body. Therefore, they are all fallible. In the spiritual world, however, they are always liberated in oneness. Hare Krishna.
John, thank you so much, all of the devotees that have contributed in reading this jam-packed piece of information in the form of Prabhupada's purport. Okay, so fallible, infallible. We can maybe use the phrase in a little different, let's say, just different accent. Fallible or infallible. I don't know if that sort of rings true with you, Prabhu's here, but what is indicated here is that there's people who fall, and we have all fallen. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this world of change. And then there are those who are infallible or infallible, and they have reached a liberated state. Even if they've made the mistake of falling down, once you get liberated, you reach a different status. Now, somebody might ask, and it's going to come up a little later on in this chapter, well, where does Krishna fit in? Is he fallible, infallible? And most of you would give a natural answer to say, infallible. He will not fall down. He will not be snared by the snake of Maya. He will not be entangled in any way, shape, or form, you know. But that will be answered a little differently. And I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. Krishna is not in either category. He's not either category. You cannot even conceive of him falling down. So don't even use the word. Don't slap it on him in whether it's he will or will not. It's not even a consideration. So that's the point. Anyways, we are all in the same boat together, right? We're in the same boat together, meaning that when you're on a boat, let's say, let's go back a little over 100 years ago. Let's say maybe you were in the Titanic and you got on one of those lifeboats and there's water all around and it's the month of April, middle of April, and it's cold and you're all in the same boat together. So you better behave if you want to get up and watch your balance, because if that lifeboat tips, all of you are finished, So we are in the same boat together, meaning that we are suffering the pangs of our hunger and thirst and lust and greed and envy, all those kind of things. And as is indicated, Prakriti Stani Karashiti, Bhagavat Gita, one is struggling with the six senses, which includes the mind, which is a subtle sense. So we're all struggling and we seek to get out of the struggle. And if you play your cards right and you follow the step-by-step procedure of Bhakti Yoga, there's a good chance that you can get free from all of this, get moksha. And moksha means that you're free from what? Samsara. Samsara means repeated birth and death. You're out of the cycle. You're out of this whirlpool, this ridiculous whirlpool of Maya. And you're a free bird, suddenly. And you want to keep it that way. And that means you enter in the category of not being fallible anymore, but there is the potential that you can come back down into this material world again if Krishna wants, but it's not likely to happen. You know why? Because once you've gone through the nightmare, you don't want to relive that nightmare. Have any of you people had devotees have nightmares in the past? Please raise your hand. Okay, and it is not a good experience. In fact, you're happy to wake up. Oh my God, you might wake up in a cold sweat. So you're not eager to revisit that position. It's not something people hanker for. The bad dream, the nightmare. And so once you're with Krishna, you're likely to stay with him. But we are always in the category of Tatashta Shakti. You've heard that before? Shakti means energy. Tatashta Shakti means you're kind of in the middle. You're sort of a fence sitter. You could fall on this side of the field or that side of the field. When I was a kid, my dad would take me into the cornfield and he would take photographs of us. Or I guess my mom did, because some third party person had to do that. I was just like 1 or 2 years old. But he could put me on the fence. And if I wasn't careful, I'd fall into the cornfield or I'd fall into our backyard on grass. Falling wouldn't be good either way, especially when you're young. My dad, he was very careful with me to make sure I wouldn't fall if he put me up, hoisted me up high. So Tatashta Shakti means that you're like, it's like yesterday, Satyavrata and I, we walked along the Red Deer River, and there is a bank. There's a shoreline with grass. I'm sorry, sand. And it was relatively dry, and so the shoreline is like that. It's either wet or it's dry. When the wave comes in, when it laps up, it will be wet until the sun comes up, and we see that in particular at the ocean side or the side of a lake. So you can either be wet or dry, and it's kind of your choice. The wet territory is liquid. The other is dry. And we can be either wet or dry, depending on what we do with ourselves. So Prabhupada also the Acharyas talk about wet stool and dry stool. But stool is stool, nevertheless. Okay? We are all spirit souls, whether we're conditioned or unconditioned. But we are spirit souls. We have a connection with Krishna. And it's our duty and responsibility, especially as a human being, to see that we shelter ourselves at Krishna's lotus feet and stay with him. And I want to tell you another thing, which I might have expressed to this group before, and then I'll let you talk, or we'll let someone else recite the verse if they've memorized it. Okay, so some devotees were complaining about our temple president and saying, well, he's doing real estate. He's doing real estate. He should do pure bhakti. He should only be doing puja, giving classes, chanting Hare Krishna, eating prasadam. And those were the early days. We hardly had any grahastas. And if you were a grahasta, you lived outside, you didn't live in the temple, you might be given the title, oh, he's a life member, or he's a fringe. That's how fanatical we were. So devotees sent a letter to Prabhupada. What are we going to do with our temple president? He's making money. Of course, if you're a dad or a husband, you better get your money act together and take care of your family. But maybe those were part of the old days. We weren't quite mature enough to understand these things. And then so Prabhupada came back with an answer. And he said, well, it is, he wasn't denouncing that you make money as a grahasta. You have needs, right? So Prabhupada was saying, it is like going fishing. When you put the reel out, the fish line out, you make sure you get your catch, but make sure that catch doesn't pull you in. So he said, make sure you don't get wet. Make sure you stay dry, right? So the point is that you could be a money earner and start a business and all that. Just make sure you don't get ensnared by Maya. That's all. So that's the point. Drawing some analogies from being wet or being dry. Yeah, 2 days ago, we wanted to get wet. We heard the forecast for this day was going to be 31 degrees in a lake nearby, Red Deer. And so that, oh, let's get out there before the sun beats us, takes all the energy out of us. So me and Mahadev and Annapurna, we decided, let's go. And you were going to come with us too, right?
Sure.
September? We're going to dive in there into the lake at 5:30 in the morning before the sun comes up. Okay, so anyways, the directions changed. The latest report was it's going to be 10 degrees at 5:30, and it would only reach a high of 14 degrees. I'm sorry for the American devotees, how to translate that, I'm not sure. But, in other words, it got really cold.
Yeah.
It got really cold. So anyways, make your decision. Do you want to be wet or do you want to be dry? Wetness is uncomfortable. We're not meant to be in the water too long. So I guess that would be the material world, right? Being dry would be in the spiritual realm. Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions?
Maharaj, I have a comment and a question.
Okay.
The comment is it was a great example of the fishing example that you mentioned. That's very, it makes sense. The second one was, is fallible the right way to pronounce it, or is fallible?
We usually say fallible,
Okay.
but you better just check it out with your Google or God, one of the two references. Yeah, I think probably it's proper English to say fallible. But it means the same thing, right? Just look at the word that's captured in the middle, fall, to fall.
Yeah,
Christianity talks about that too. They talk about falling from grace. That means you, they talk about good angels and bad angels. A bad angel is one who was good, but fell from grace and got critical. So try not to fall.
Yeah, fallible makes more sense because the meaning.
Yes. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
no one will crucify you, Prabhu, if you say fallible instead of fallible.
Well, I can say I'm from India.
That's right. But you always got an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm from India. What to do? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments? Does anybody want to share, just for a little interlude, their memorization of 15:15? Do we have somebody else out there?
Can I go?
Sure.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smritirjnanamohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedhu vedantakrit vedavit eva chaham.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Do you want to give us the translation to that as well?
I am known to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead by all the Vedas, and from me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, memory, and I am the compiler of Vedas.
Knowledge, remembrance, and
Knowledge,
forgetfulness.
yeah.
And it starts off with I'm seated in everyone's heart.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I'm the compiler of the Vedas.
I am the knower of all the Vedas also.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. That's very good, very good. Sanskrit was impeccable. The English, you got to work on it. And your husband's got the reverse. He was a little stuck in the Sanskrit, but he was good with the English. So you two should get together, work together. All right. Then let's. Anybody else would like to volunteer? We'll give you 3 minutes or so.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. I'll volunteer, Maharaj. This is Sindhamini
Okay.
Devi. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Nice. Okay. Yes.
Purport. The Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart, and it is from him that all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Required
Okay.
knowledge.
Yeah, this is very good, but we were just asking if anybody could recite their memorized verse.
Maharaj.
That's what we were asking for. Okay, but that's okay. Your reading was perfect. I can't fault it. I think it was just great. But thank you very much. Anybody else want to memorize or give us your homework assignment?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I will.
Okay, let's go for it.
Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mattah smriti jnana pohanam cha vedaischa sarve ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. That's the Sanskrit. That's good. Let's continue on. We're looking at 15.15 for those who came a little bit late. We asked you to memorize that last week, and because it's a powerful verse quoted a lot by Prabhupada and the Acharyas. Okay, so let's talk about falling and not falling. Anybody else has something they like to contribute? Either your realizations or if you have any questions at all.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question. Did you end up jumping in the lake?
Oh, no, we didn't. We didn't.
It
It was
too
colder
cold.
by the lake than anywhere else. We were not protected by trees, and it was overcast. It was pretty cold, and
Was
such a
that
breath.
Sylvan Lake?
Such a breath that his lips were going. You know, it was
Yeah,
so cold.
I'm glad Anuttama wasn't there.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Anuttama jumped in Lake Ontario 2 summers ago, and he turned red like a tomato. It was as soon as he got out. Well, I thought he was momentarily. I thought he was going to leave his body.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
I never. Okay, so if you're going to fall in the right place. And leaving Krishna's domain is not a good idea. And like the little fish who contemplated, I don't want to follow the big fish. I want to see what it's like. If I could be the big fish, I want to be in charge. And big fish says, well, it's not natural for you. Because I am the big fish and always will be. And you will always be the little fish. So it's a matter of what Prabhupada called the constitutional position, right? You have to work within your position. And there's 2 positions. One is conditioned position, and the other one is constitutional. The constitutional means that you be yourself. You act as a servant. You're not God. You follow, be obedient, etc., like that. And the conditioned soul is one who is conditioned by 3 modes of nature and by desires and all kinds of other things. So if you want to avoid falling, simply do yoga. And I want to, I throw that word out to you because Prabhupada explained that Krishna's dictation is yoga. Isn't that beautiful? Following Krishna's dictation is yoga, uniting with him instead of opposing him. As soon as you oppose, as soon as ego starts to flare up, then there's issues. And where there's issues, you're going to go and grab for your tissues. Anything else, Prabhu?
Yeah, Maharaj, I just want to say we can use some cold water here in Arajwa. That's all.
Well, I wish it could be balanced, but it never is that way. We still got lots of fires in Canada. I don't know, it keeps going on because everywhere I go, it's raining. I don't quite get it, and yet there's lots of fires in the US as well, not as much, but yeah, there's a need for cold water. I'd love to send you some snow, Prabhu. I would really love to do that, but I don't have any at my disposal at the moment right now. Hare Krishna. But you understand the dualities, why everything is so extreme here. It compels us, it's a catalyst to get us out of this world, to go back to Godhead. If there were not extremes, extreme heat, extreme cold, we would probably say, I don't need to go. I don't need to go to heaven. I don't know this Vaikuntha thing. I'm doing all right here. I got a good setup. So that's why the dualities are there. It's to help us move along. They're there to push us.
Maharaj, there was some on Vancouver Island where it doesn't snow and doesn't get too hot and it's very peaceful. I think that's been one of the challenges in showing Krishna consciousness there, because people are very comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable, complacent maybe.
Yeah.
And so that's a problem. Laid back.
Yeah.
Like I go to Hawaii once in a while, and everyone talks about it. It's almost the perfect place to be. Prabhupada referred to it, and other places, certain sections of Africa and Mauritius. It's practically like heaven. Okay. But, so you have physical comfort, but do you have mental comfort? That's what I ask. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in a comfort zone area in terms of the temperature and all that, but are you mentally comfortable? And the answer usually is no. Right? It's no. So I feel, first, I've given some thought to this. It's probably better to have some physical discomfort than mental discomfort. Because we live in a world where you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Anybody who's been around for a while knows the song I'm talking about. You get anything at Costco's. And it's cheap, and you get it. Just have to find storage space, But, are you mentally at peace with yourself? And usually the answer is no. We've advanced to astronomical levels here in the modern world. You got a car. You keep warm in the winter. You put the AC on in the summer. We've got it made. But is there mental peace in the world? Answer no. People are frustrated. They've got everything, but they're still not happy. So sometimes this physical comfort is something we should impose upon ourselves. So that we could just develop thick skin, be able to handle the world a little better, and it better prepares us for liberation. Like sometimes people, they say, oh, I want to go to a warm climate. I don't want to be where it's cold. So, well, why do you want to do that? What does it have to do with the mission? Does it make you a better person? Answer, not necessarily so. So I usually say, what about, I'm talking about devotees. For instance, everyone wants to go to Alachua. Some couple might not like me for saying this. Well, why do you want to go there? There's already good administration there. Why don't you take up the mission? Start something, be adventurous, be bold, be a warrior, do something to be proud of, take up a challenge, right? So whether it's the situation, go for it. Anyways, that's where I'm coming from on that.
Maharaj, so is that the concept of tapasya? So taking up physical discomfort to reach spiritual peace?
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of what you said. Could you say it again?
Yeah, so is that like the concept of tapasya? or tapas?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, tapasya means voluntarily accepting some inconvenience for the sake of character building and for the sake of learning detachment. Like when devotees go on fasts. Nobody really likes to do that. You've got a refrigerator full of goodies, avocados, melons, cheeses, whatever you like, ice cream, but you're on a fast. And you can be tempted, just take a little bit. But your mental condition is such that I am doing some tapasya now for my ultimate wellness. I will build strength by resisting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck on your form of tapasya. Yeah, anyways, devotees don't have much tapasya from what I've seen. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you follow Ekadasi, the fasting can purify you because your mind wants to eat and you're like, nope. So it definitely helps you like a lot. Maybe I can try the bird sign. I'm not trying to do it, but I've been practicing on it. But yeah, I'll try to do it.
Oh, that's great. That's a fantastic personal commitment that you're, let's say, revealing to the public here, our little Gita chat public.
Yeah, I mean, I've been practicing because I've been kind of busy. But anyways, I am seated in everyone's hearts, and by me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgiveness. By all means, I am to be known by the Vedas. I am the compiler of Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas.
Yes, very good. Bravo. Yes, thank you very much. And that's a little bit of tapasya too, just try to strain your brain, do a little bit of a memory exercise. It's very good for the brains to memorize some shlokas and then be able to tell someone about it. Like Arjun, you could tell your friends over there, you just recite your verse, especially if it's in Sanskrit. They'll be impressed, and you back it up with the English translation. It's a good exercise. It's a form of tapasya. It's not a great one. It's not a major strain, but it's a good one. I'm sure most of you will agree. How about you, Anutama? You probably love to memorize shlokas, right?
I can, except unless they're from the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, which I can't even read them.
Oh, they're off meter. They're a little different. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Don't worry about those. Good. How are we doing for time right now?
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
20 minutes left. Okay. Anybody else would like to say something on fallible versus infallible?
Yeah,
Or
Maharaj,
if you like, yeah.
sorry. One
Go ahead.
question. Regarding tapasya which is self-inflicted, is that good?
Yes. Otherwise, it's not tapasya.
Okay.
Like when nature comes and throws a hurricane down your way, and that's not something you imposed on yourself. It's something that nature has thrown at you, and but where you exercise tapasya, you have to simply accept it. You can't just stand there. Why is nature doing? God, don't curse. Just accept it. Work with it. Because someone is being tossed in the air, try to grab them. Or if you're in a flood, we saw footage recently. One guy was caught in a flood. And another person came and plucked him out. So how do you respond? This is really the question. How does each and every one of you respond to adversity? Or like a major challenge, whether it's imposed by nature, or just someone insults you. How do you respond? And that we're being tested at those on those occasions.
Is
Where
that
sometimes, like, I would get angry sometimes, or sometimes I start to pray. Depends how
Yes,
much my consciousness is Krishna
r-
conscious. So
that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It depends a little bit on what mode you're in, oftentimes too. Like if you're in the lower modes, it's very hard to shift gears and to feel to come across to jump into sattva mode of goodness and respond nicely, you know. So it's very difficult. So always keep your head above water and try to stay in the sattva as much as possible, the realm of thoughtfulness.
Maharaj,
Yes, Uday,
uh,
is that you?
yeah,
Oh,
so regarding a response, I have experienced that if you are detached from situation or people, then it's easier to respond, because then you can make analytically, or you don't, like, you can think very clearly. But in
yeah,
situations where you are very attached to people situation, it becomes really hard, because then you're thinking very emotionally, like you're going to lose something.
yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, it becomes really hard when to make decisions in terms of when you're close by, or when decision would impact uh, a relation, and your living.
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
mindset should be one of equanimity, right?
yes, yeah. So
Everything's
like,
the same. You know, you might
yeah,
say it's either good or bad, but even bad is good. Good is good and bad is good. If that
yeah,
makes any sense to you. Just
yes,
be detached. Yeah.
yeah. Like that is where, and when you read in Bhagavad Gita, like, even if you are in like in a family life, there needs to be detachment. So that is where it makes sense, right? That is where you can make very nice decisions without being much agitated by an event or something.
Yeah.
I think, like,
When you're
detachment.
when you're
Yeah,
when you're grahasta, you learn a lot of detachment, right? You've been growing, you've been raising your kids and suddenly they argue with you. So say you don't expect that, Or they go their own course and into a direction that you're not that happy about, or they choose the wrong girlfriend or boyfriend, and it kind of just disturbs you, right? And but you have to be detached and let them maybe fall. Hey, we're talking about falling, trip over their toes, over their shoelaces, and they have to learn some things the hard way. Yeah. I mean, one thing that really helps in the realm of detachment is that when you become a teacher, you teach the truth, the absolute truth. Someone comes to you, even if the enemy comes to you, if they want to know the truth, tell them. Tell them the truth. They'll become a better person. But if you withhold and say, "This is the enemy, I'm not going to share anything," then that shows a little bit of attachment that is unfavorable for devotional service. Can anyone think of an example of that, where someone was criticized for you you taught martial arts? I'm almost giving you the hint. Martial arts to the enemy. Yeah.
how do you how do you distinguish between detachment and apathy?
Well, I just wanted to ask the question, and we'll get back to your query. Was there
Dronacharya.
Drona? Yes, Drona was criticized, and we loved Drona. He was an equipoised man. He just liked to share his wisdom. He didn't want to withhold, and he was criticized by Duryodhana. You taught the Pandavas. Shame on you. And Duryodhana, I mean, here's the pupil criticizing the guru, right off the bat, right in the beginning of the Gita, we see he was a little bit off course, Duryodhana, that he made a mistake there. Okay, Ananda Shesh, you've asked a few questions, and we'll get back to it. There's something about. Is there anybody else who wants to just out of fairness, anybody else have anything they want to say? Or
I had you see how you change the background sometimes, and like I had a phone call and I forgot to change it, and then I had Krishna in the background. It had Krishna and Mother Yasoda, and everything looked like really beautiful. And then I had a friend of mine. I was preaching to him. He understands a lot more now, but he said, "Who's that person over there?" He said jokingly. He said, "That's not his." And I said, I got me so mad. I don't know why, but I got me super mad. I said, told him, who's not anything here? It's not yours. And I said, if I was next to you, I will give you like, I will hit you with a stick. But then I calmed down and, he asked me for forgiveness. He said, because he really didn't know. But I said, you can say anything about me, just don't say anything about him, because everything is actually his. Not ours. And I told him, but now he understands that this is Krishna. Now he's stopping to eat me, so he's stopping slowly. So I'm telling him, but like at the moment, I know I shouldn't have reacted like that, because when you're giving Krishna consciousness to people, they have a lot of garbage in the head, so they need more brainwashing, because they're
so you were feeling you were not so equipoised in the way you were handling the situation.
Well, because it got me upset. I was like, talking bad about Krishna, like everything is his. So it got me upset. I was like, what do you mean it's not his? And the way he said it like in a jokingly kind of like,
you felt he was blaspheming. I guess that's what you're
yeah, I mean, I know I shouldn't. I overreacted a little bit, because Prabhupada said we have to be gentlemen. But like, it's hard to control your emotions like that, when you have like a little bit of love for Krishna, but then somebody comes and like, that's not his. It's like, because people say that Krishna is not God, and then but you ask them, well, who is God? And they say, I don't know, but it's not him. So it's kind of crazy.
So you're just being tested, which is not a bad thing. Yeah, good. Anantashi, first of all, is there any, before we close off, anybody else like to recite the shloka, either the Sanskrit or the English, that didn't have a chance yet?
Yeah, I can.
Uday, okay, go ahead.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matah smriti janana apohanam chah vedascha sarve aham eva vedyo vedanta kid vedavid chaham eva chaham. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Anybody else want to do it either in Sanskrit or English?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I can try.
Okay, go for it.
Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto mataha smritirjnanam apohanam cha virascha sarva aham eva vidyo vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham.
Excellent, bravo, coming all the way from Guyana. Woo! Nice. Okay, Anantashish, you had another question, right?
Yes, Maharaj. It was a question about, we were talking about detachment. How do you distinguish detachment from apathy?
Apathy. Well, apathy is when you do it without a heart, when you carry yourself without heart. And when you're detached, you understand, you have a heart, but you have to react, not emotionally. I think it's a matter of looking at the definition of the words, but that would just be my off the cuff, presentation on it. Definitely devotees, they have a heart. And Krishna says in the beginning, the wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Does that mean that devotees don't have feelings? They have no sensitivity? Yes, they do. But it's like, maybe the best example is like a warrior. The job has to get done. You have to carry on despite the adversities. And you just have to keep in mind, follow the order, do what needs to be executed, follow the Dharma, and that's it. Apathy is when, my God, I think falls more into the category of tamagun, where you just don't care. You don't have any feelings. You just become insensitive. So there must be empathy, but not apathy. There's a difference, isn't it? But it's a good question. Good question.
That's a good connection you made, empathy and apathy.
Yeah. Look at those two words and see how they measure up standing beside each other.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. So we've got another
8 minutes.
about 8 minutes to go. Is there anybody else who'd like to recite the verse from last week? We'll give another chance. And
Maharaj, I can do it, Maharaj.
okay. Yes, by all means.
Thank you, Maharaj. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanamapohanam cha vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta kritveda vid eva chaham.
Nice. Beautiful, bravo. That sounded so melodious. Good. So I guess what we can do for the remainder of our time here, the rain is kind of starting to get a little serious now. Why don't we do takeaways right now? This way, everyone has a chance to say something. So but we see some of the names here by you, Prabhus, not always the faces, but let's give everyone a chance. So Vaishnavi, could you go down everyone that's with us here, and let's wrap up by offering a takeaway. Okay, so we like you to keep it short. If you could keep it within 10 words, that would really be nice. And please don't go too long, because if it's too long, then I have to count every word, and then it becomes too difficult. Okay, so for brevity's sake, what did you learn from what we went through here? What was said, what was read, and take it from there.
Okay. Ankur, you want to go first? I'm trying to go alphabetically here.
Sure. Spiritual world unity, material world division.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Beautiful.
Anantasesha.
Whenever there's fallible and infallible, I want to connect always to the word for.
Always connect to what was that?
To the word for.
Form?
For, F-A-L-L, for. Fallible.
Paul.
Okay.
Anuttama.
Yes, so our ego makes us feel like we're infallible, but then austerity or tapasya makes us remember we are fallible.
Nice.
And not to go into the river along with the fishing rod.
Oh, don't get wet.
Especially for
All
him.
right. Okay, you're right. Especially when it's cold. All right.
Arjuna.
Attachment to Krishna gives you happiness, but attachment to the body gives you suffering.
Very nice. We got a lot of people that with their names starting with A. Yeah.
Charles, can you talk? Or you're busy? Okay. Purna Chandra, Devidasi.
Okay. I like the concept of fallible and infallible. And then I found like Krishna gives and forgets, and we take and forget.
Nice. Beautiful.
Sachi Sutta Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, if we accept voluntary inconvenience, it can help us to develop like mental peace and well-being.
Nice. Very good.
Sankalpa.
When we don't agree with Krishna, we become conditioned living entities.
Nice. Thank you.
Sandhamini.
Krishna Maharaj, Krishna is not fallible or infallible. He's not even.
Don't even give it a thought.
Cannot be. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Maharaj.
Uday.
As a spirit soul, we are walking on a tightrope. Like we can go on other side depending upon our consciousness. So we have to be aware about it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good thought.
Vasanta.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In the material world, too many distraction, lust, misery, failure. And in the spiritual world, we are the spirits are all one and are more focused and together and doesn't have this distraction. And therefore, it's infallible.
Nice. Thank you so much for that revelation.
So a person sitting next to you, Maharaj.
Oh, he's loading up the van now.
Okay.
We have Purna Chandra Devidasi. Did she?
Yes.
Did she?
She said something.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
Sorry. You can say Purna Chandra.
Prabhu, that was pranam. Yeah, I said I like the concept of fallible and infallible. And
Oh,
then
right. Okay.
Krishna gives and forgets, and we take and forget.
Yes, very good. And Charles, we did ask him, right? How are you, Charles? Okay, he's sort of with us. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it then. Thank you very much. Those of you who like to continue to go for the memorization process, we can just add that as a feature for the next couple of sessions. And if you like that method, because it imposes on you some kind of a little bit of exercise, a little bit of homework in order to get home, right? Homework to get home, to go back home. Then it's just it will put a little more let's say flex your brains a little bit more, which is always a good thing. Yeah, good. So we hope you all have a good week ahead of you, and I hope you're enjoying your summer. And like I am, we're just hopping from one Ratha Yatra to the next here where I am. And I'm in Alberta. We'll be in Saskatchewan next, and then Manitoba, and then Ontario, and eventually we're going to make it down to Florida. Yahoo!
And
Okay.
then Prabhu, August.
Yes. What's that?
Oh, it's in August in Vancouver.
Yes, we're going to be in Vancouver as well. That's right. Absolutely.
in-
For the Rath Yatra there. Yep. All right. So thank you so much for your attention and your presence. Just keep it up. Let people know, those who you think would benefit from us getting together, them joining us. Just let me know about it. And anybody who's a little sincere seeker should be part of this, I think. All right, so let's bid farewell. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhibhyavata Vidyamam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai. Take care then.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai.
Thank you, everybody.
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Goodbye to
Dandavat
you all.
pranam.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.